Hello everybody, welcome back. This is your tropical update for September 7th. We're currently watching Category 2 Hurricane K now, Category 1 Hurricane Earl, Category 1 Hurricane Danielle, as well as Invest 95L in an area of interest. Lots of things going on, and several land areas to watch for potential development with these storms. So let's begin with Category 2 Hurricane K. K making its way near Baja California today, with winds of 105 miles an hour as a Category 2 hurricane. It may briefly reach Category 3 strength, but it also may not. So therefore, I haven't put a major hurricane alert on the coast, because at least by that point, it should also begin to be weakening. Again, hurricane watches, warnings, tropical storm watches, warnings in effect for the entirety of Baja California, as well as portions of the Mexican coast with a tropical storm warning. We would see a little tropical storm force winds possible in South California. Such a weird thing to say here, talking about the tropics. San Diego area, and again, that's kind of what we're looking at. Rainfall 6 to 10, isolated 15, flash flooding possible as far north as southern California and southwestern Arizona due to this storm. And again, those areas are not used to getting 2 inches of rain, so 2 inches of rain is a lot for them. As we can see here, it could briefly intensify a little bit more, but after that, it'll begin to decrease in strength as it moves off to the north. The ensemble models are well to the outside, but as you'll see here shortly on the GFS and European, or at least the GFS, it's much closer to the Baja California coastline. Category 1 Hurricane Danielle, basically moving with the flow of the atmosphere at this point, as you can see, but still a hurricane. And in fact, it's strengthened since yesterday, back up to 80 miles an hour. It should continue to expand its wind field, but also lose tropical characteristics. By the time we have tomorrow's update here, it's either going to be borderline extratropical or fully extratropical by that point in time. Come about Monday or so, we could see impacts into the Iberian Peninsula due to Danielle, as we see here. Most of the models take it near Spain and Portugal, but of course not as a tropical cyclone and not with tropical storm force winds. Category 1 Hurricane Earl looking much better on the satellite presentation today, beginning to actually look like a proper hurricane. Tropical storm warning now in effect for Bermuda, as it will likely reach major hurricane strength southeast of Bermuda. Current winds are at 85 miles an hour. Max winds could be in excess of 120 by the time it's all said and done. Multiple models bring it to a high Category 3 strength, maybe even a Category 4. Some of them only bring it to a Cat 2. So we'll see exactly how all things shake out. The good news is the center will spare Bermuda the worst. However, tropical storm force winds still likely there, hence that tropical storm warning. Invest 95L located in the middle of the Atlantic today, Eastern Atlantic, Central Atlantic, somewhere in there. 35 mile an hour winds, 70% chance of formation within the next 5 days. Not a huge deal with land. As you see, there's not a single land area on this model guidance. And then also it could become a tropical storm briefly as well. We'll continue to monitor this one to see if it gets named or numbered tomorrow. The area of interest off the coast of Africa now up to a 30% chance of formation within the next 5 days. We'll kind of see what happens with that one. Here's the impact map. Again, Danielle is north off of the screen there, like yesterday. Invest 95L and the area of interest behind it, no real problems. No changes to the impact map today. We kept Bermuda at a slight risk. However, it might really only end up being a low, but we'll see. Due to Earl and then due to K over in Baja, moderate risk remains in place. Winds not likely to exceed 90 miles an hour, even at the tip of Baja California there. The tip meaning like that tip of Baja California Sur up in central Baja California. And again, minimal impacts possible throughout California and Arizona in the southern areas of those states due to the storm. We're also watching the European ensemble models and seeing what they have to say, much in line, at least in terms of K, with its path near Baja California, making its way, keeping the center off of the coast of Baja, but a little bit closer than a lot of those hurricane models are indicating. Earl, again, away from Bermuda, at least its center is away from Bermuda. Extraneous impacts still likely. Like I mentioned yesterday, how close or far away it is depends on how big or small the impacts are to the island of Bermuda. Again, 95L will curve out to sea and not be a huge problem. Category 2 Hurricane K, according to the GFS, again, at least it's weakening as you see it goes from orange to yellow to green as it begins to approach Baja. About half of the models, if not more, have a landfall with K. So that's at least worth noting that it does have a hurricane strength landfall there, and a hurricane warning is in place. Earl again away from Bermuda, which is good. However, a touch closer than the European was. It's kind of as if the GFS has a magnet for these storms to go towards land. It kind of seems like 95L, it expects to be short-lived if it does develop. There are adventures behind it with very little support. Anyways, guys, that's all we have for now. Again, Baja and Bermuda both need to be monitoring K and Earl respectively very closely. And then, of course, we have other storms as we continue to experience the peak of hurricane season. That's all for now. Chris 694 with Catholic Media.